Hello world, hello Zion, it's Prince Easy coming at you again. So, I do have a couple slides that I do want to share with you in this weekend here, right? So, let's get to it. So, spears to pigs, huh? Putin to wage war, right? They gotta get that, I call it the Kalakalas money. Kalakayas, is it? It's quite easy to disable these warships. There's 2 strikes on the tarmac, one on that stupid captain nest, and it's done. Yeah. Look at the wealth. It's good business, I guess. Yeah, good business. Welcome to the zoo. If you live peacefully, everything will be fine. We're actually very welcoming people. That's like our heritage. Here they go with their regime change moves, right? They have a guy that they have prepared and fooled everybody. This is why, right? All I'm waiting is to see them people's backing this guy here. You should watch that video, and of course I do have some extracts from this, there are actually 2 videos from this channel pertaining to this subject matter, but I do have some screen grabs from the video that I'm going to share with you today, just to, hammer in the point, for those who don't even get the time to view the video, right? Yeah, they can say this because it's just a reality, right? Great achievement, right? But the symbolism here, my guy, you're playing with fire, not now. I don't know if it's AI generated. I just found it like that. Again, here they go, gaslighting, not literally, but metaphorically, even though both analogies apply. Don't overreact. Here they go. Just like I said, their so-called recognition was all summiting to this point here. And of course, there is a peak, right? There is a peak. And that peak will be, again, launching a war against Iran. Yeah, I couldn't say it any different. Well, pertaining to this, let's just call it violence. Let's not call it gender-based violence. Why? Because you alienate the men in your struggle. And trust me, your struggles are not going to be successful unless a man is involved. Same as the man's struggle. They need the woman to be on their side to help them through it. Right? So it is a violence issue. It's not, you should not even call on, focus on a specific group and their experience when it comes to violence, right? There is a broader issue, right? And these are just the symptoms of that broader issue, and that issue is security, right? I've heard from many South Africans that there are some towns that you cannot go there, right? Because there is high risk of you being robbed at gunpoint. That's even worse, right? That's weird, right? Some other countries outside of Africa, they might it might be a normal thing, but in Africa, it's not common, you know, weapons, or rather the proliferation of weapons, except in war zones, for that matter. Again, that's understandable. So I hope Lockheed Martin is keeping count, and somebody else out there is keeping count. What made this jet fail? Apparently, the water froze, the fuel froze, the hydraulic, right? If that's what it is, right? It froze and boom. And in the same taste, some other crafts had to be okay. So these are the weapons that are ready to protect you in your endeavor of aggression. Okay, right? This is a sight to see. Again, I've told you how to deal with this. You can just drone them. Yeah, you can drone them. Those drones from Russia, you can quite easily. Why is he surprised? Why is he surprised? And why is the UN not saying anything? Here we know why. Right? There's a lot of summoning going on these days, huh? Yeah. No peace with Putin. Maybe if Putin was replaced, or maybe a strategic defeat was enacted. Again, they do have their people that they back, and we are gonna soon find out. It goes on and on, right? Libyans, the Gaddafi did the same thing, and it was fatal, as per the record. It has always been fatal. But people don't learn, no. Especially these young people who are in leadership positions. A few of them understand. Most of them, nah, they don't get it. Right, maybe we can blame the older generation for not giving them game on how to actually be a president and basically jump over the hoops that a former president had to jump over, right? But again, here we are. Well, I'ma watch what is going on out there. So, all right. You can pause and watch. Right? Right? Ancient Judaism, it recognized, this is what they're telling you. There are 8 genders in their old book. I don't know how Christian that is, but again, here we are. They are the fathers, supposedly they are the fathers of Christianity, and they recognized 8 genders. These deaths, just like the ones from the jab, they're going to be swept under the rug, believe me, you. Right? And they're actually the makers of these hormones, right? Why? Because it's part of their belief, right? They can believe whatever they want to believe, but they cannot, again, use politicians from America and the Europeans to come here to Africa to preach it to us about being alphabet people. No, we are not having it, right? And you can look at the titles by yourself. So during the Hitler period, Berlin was the hotbed. Right now, in this current timeline, yeah, Israel is the hotbed of these such activities. Believe me, you. Here they are. Where did they go astray? Well, they went astray as any culture went astray. They were influenced by angels. They wanted to become angels, right? They wanted to become angels. And here we are, right? Of course, still waiting on that list. How is it coming along? Look at that. The things that we have been talking about here, huh? Of course, they have to take Egypt off the negotiation table. How do they do that? Well, again, make up some stuff about them and make them, what do they say? A party to the conflict. Yeah? A party to the conflict. They're taking out players because they're still planning to do what they're planning to do. And if you supposed Islamic Arab nations don't wake up, yeah, we're gonna have a time ahead of us. So he proposes this, and of course this is investing in those poor nations. Well, here is the map of the state of birth rate across the world. And I think he's investing his money in the wrong way. I think he should invest his money where women are forgotten. If women are forgotten, how can they then, are we what? Are we doing bad stuff to them for them to give birth? No. But again, they know better. They want to bring contraceptives so as they can tank, right? They term it as a temporary measure, right? As students go to school and this and that, while the effects actually they reverse, right? It's gonna make it worse, right? It's gonna make it worse. Everything they're doing is just making everything worse. Right? But they do know what is good for them, right? And what is good for them, maybe it's good for us. I'm just saying, right? Because they have opinions, they have observations, and I think, again, they are solid arguments. But now, we are the ones experiencing the highest birth rate, and they want to bring contraceptives as if, right? So that whole map of showing how productive we are is a problem for them, apparently. They are working on a mechanism, right? They're developing a mechanism to rob out in the public, right? And just consider what type of messaging is this sending to your investors, right? That how quick your financial system can turn political in an instant. Less and less investors are gonna come there, right? And all of this talk here is gonna get you in trouble, you know? front line. They call them the front line. Yeah, you just understand this. If you want war, war you'll get. If you want peace, peace you'll get. But either way, this is gonna end. You pick and choose your poison. You call whatever you wanna call. Okay? And like my good friend here asked, did you consult with the Russians, or are you gonna again repeat the same mistakes that led to this war in the first place? Well, it is Maker Hitler, the Black Sun. If Grog was a planet, what planet would that be? Riddle me that. Right? If that Grog logo was a planet, what planet would that be? Right now, this is quite a hot button topic, and I'm gonna talk about it in the end, right? This is what is in their heart, and what's in their heart is what they're gonna carry out. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality. No, they are not divided by anything. These people are playing games with people, right? They're playing games with people, right? Zelensky and Netanyahu, they're all fighting one single war. Believe me, you. I know some of you, I've seen some headlines out there, some of you are waking up to this reality that, okay, hold up, wait a minute. Why? I don't know why people are too late to catch on. It's like the same sponsors of Ukraine, they're the same sponsors of Israel. So how can they be separate wars? Of course. So this here is not more than, it's not like predictive programming, right? But we talked about yesterday, expectations and narrative control and all of that, right? So they are preparing for something in our skies, right? They have to take the lens off themselves, right? Yeah, I thought there was an agreement to stop attacks on power plants. In my opinion, they should continue, right? Because there is no honor here, right? There is no honor here. The two-sided coin of UN. Forces from Uganda and Tanzania should be there, mandatory, and Mozambique. You use your, they are the people that I trust over there to deal with that whole deal. Of course, the other side of the UN, the useful tool of the West, right? So they had to provide justifications, right? At least imply, right, that Iran is on the wrong side of this, right? Yeah, a lot is happening in Kenya, and this is all aimed at the presidency. And Kenyans, you better move wisely, not impulsively, wisely. That's my suggestion. Of course, implying, right? Implying, comparing apples and coconuts. So Fatmia, Sufa, that's what your name is. Well, Fatmia, Sufa, you an idiot. And this type of moves will endanger your brothers everywhere living in coexistence with other people of other faith. Okay? This is ridiculous. Yeah, that escalated quick. Right? These are orchestrated, right? There was a other riot before this, right? There was the other one. And now this. So somebody is paying for this. Somebody is paying for this. Right? And if one of you big fellas can help out here, it would be much appreciated, right? These people are under siege and they don't know it. They don't know it. So, Brandon, I would like you to flash back. It was one of the so-called Trump assassins. He had on a t-shirt from Demolition Ranch. Okay, what is that? Okay, like I said, this is a double-headed Hydra operation. And one of the operation or the intention of this operation is to disarm you. It's to disarm you. They need that in order to keep their power. They need to disarm you. So they are creating psychological conditioning for them, or rather for you to accept, right? And their biggest target is YouTubers that have shows like yours. I can speculate. The new reality, apparently. Right? Just because of the stupidity of some individuals, a very few individuals that could not even fill up a stadium. These people done something crazy. Done used Israeli artifacts in a museum to basically gather up donations for Palestine. Classic. Right? And of course, they never forget their enemies. They gotta go after the head and attack and attack and attack and attack and attack viciously. So some other individuals chimed in. Yeah, maybe you should catch a clue that maybe they do not want you to, they want the fires to spread, maybe. Here they go with their tribal wars, wanting them to spread to Tanzania. Please. Please, okay? Give us a break. Plague of the firstborn, right? These Bible believers who recognize 8 genders, they're the ones to come out here and tell us that they can wish upon the Houthis the first plague and stuff. You're just going to receive more bombs. If you send more bombs, you're going to get more bombs. So, pertaining to this issue, right? This, I think, is just a monopoly information, right? So it starts out simple and it gets complicated, right? Brand idea, right? A product, overproduction, conflict for market, right? Let me correct that, right? Conflict for market, and then as part of the solution for that conflict of market, they intentionally divide the market, right? Just like how they divided Africa, so as they can stop conflict within themselves, right? Or the Roman Empire divided itself into tiny states, right? Like I said yesterday, those three, individuality, national state, and money, those are the things that saved Rome, right? All right? And of course, we have production, right? The propagation of the idea or said thing. It can be, in this case, we are talking about the Android or operating system, or it can even be the Windows operating system, right? Because there are new emerging competitors, so they are seeing a conflict of market or conflict for market in the horizon, right? Between them, Apple, and other similar services or service providers for that matter, right? So what are they planning to do, right? Or even what would even solve the what would be the solution between, right, between the West and the East, for that matter, right? An idiot would come out here and say, you know what, how about they divide their spheres of influence, right? Basically just dividing up the earth into their spheres of influence so as they can avoid future conflicts, right? But again, it's not, the world has not gone insane yet, right? And after that divide, they have to consolidate, right? To consolidate, right? We have the biggest scandal, the blue and green bubble scandal from Apple and Google, right? That was part of that consolidation, right? What consolidation of customers, that's what is happening right now, right? They are doing whatever they have to do to make you stay and not go to their competitors, right? So you are just a casualty, an innocent casualty in their war, and it's gonna cost you money. It's not gonna cost them money, right? And this is leading to a collapse, as we can see, right? People are rebelling against Windows by choosing Linux, right? People are migrating to Linux in masses, right? Why? Because they are seeing the noose tighten slowly and meticulously, right? And now it's Android, right? But people have not been seeing it, but it started a long time ago, right? The first term when Huawei was basically denied to use Google services, right? And now they have to do whatever they have to do, right? So as to make it harder for other people, right? To basically compete with them. Well, it's fine, right? I'm glad that they are doing this, right? Because again, they are gonna shoot themselves in the foot again, right? Again. Now this is just an opportunity for freedom-seeking techno companies to come together, right? There are so many ways that we can share our ideas and be actually a force to create alternatives, right? To create alternatives to these Western shackles, so to speak, right? So yeah, that's something to think about. That's something to think about. And they can be defeated. They are defeated. They just don't know it yet, right? So this war here was started in the business world. Now it's gonna involve everybody, right? And it's gonna get it's gonna be funny. Let's just say that it's gonna be funny. The losses, they're gonna be enormous, right? And it's gonna be good for the world. It's gonna be good for the world, believe me, you, right? So again, this is time for war. You need to recognize that and fight your war accordingly, right? Keep the line, so to speak. Anyway, Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.